ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीराम जय जय राम। 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 जय जय राम। जय जय राम। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। ॐ श्रीरामचन्द्राय नमः। अतुलितबलधामं हेमशैलाभदेहं दनुजवनकृशानुं ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। ॐ श्री हनुमते नमः। ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। नमः श्री तुलसीदास सद्वरिष्ठाय धीमते पूरितं हृदयं येन रामप्रेमामृतेन मे। ॐ श्री तुलसीदासाय नमः। Hari Om, a very, very warm welcome. We will chant the second set of Chaupais and Doha. Gurapadaraj mridu manjula anjana नयन अमीय दृगदोष बिभंजन तेहि करि बिमल बिबेक बिलोचन बरनउ रामचरित भवमोचन बंदउ प्रथम महीसुर चरना मोहजनित संशय सब हरना सुजन समाज सकल गुण खानी करऊ प्रणाम सप्रेम सुबानी साधु चरित शुभ चरित कपासु निरस बिसद गुणमय फल जासु जो सही दुख परछेद्र दुरावा बंदनीय जय जग जस पावा. We have done till here. We will continue. मुद मंगलमय संत समाजू जो जग जंगम तीरथ राजू राम भक्ति जह सुर सरिधारा सरसई ब्रह्म विचार प्रचारा विधि निषेधमय कलिमल हरणी कर्म कथार बिनंदनी बरनी हरिहर कथा विराजति बेनी सुनत सकल मुद मंगल देनी बटु विश्वास चल निज धर्मा तीर्थ राज समाज सुकर्मा सबहि सुलभ सब दिन सब देसा सेवत सादर समन कलेसा अकथ अलौकिक तीरथ रावु देई सद्य फल प्रगट प्रभावु सुनि समुझहि जन मुदित मन मज्जहि अति अनुराग लहहि चारि पल अछत तनु साधु समाज प्रयाग सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय बोलो भय सब संतन की जय. Yesterday we said Tulsi Das ji talks about mobile, isn't it? What is that he speaks? Now we will see. मुद मंगलमय संत समाजू. Sant samaju. Samaju means a big group, not a small group, a big group of what? Santa Purusha, sages and saints. And how? Muda Mangalamaya. Always Tulsidas ji takes Muda and Mangala together. We had made a mention. Muda, joyful. Mangala, auspicious. Why it is said? One very interesting point. I am not very sure whether I had made a mention earlier. This auspiciousness, well-being, goodness, happiness, whatever, need not always give that inner joy. Very many times, we go for some parties, etc., etc., where in some places it is such a noise, dance and audio, loud display of audio and things like that, and then lot of alankara is made, and then you go, you talk, you smile, all that you do, and then you find by the time you return back, you are so tired. You are actually frustrated in some cases, and then you come and lie down. You sleep like a log, and next day morning you have that hangover. Is it not? Oh, it was so tiring. It is not like that. The whole confluence of the great sages and saints, hundreds and in fact thousands of them. In fact, to be, very interestingly, recently before starting this Ramayana, when I went to a big yatra, I had also been to Ayodhya, this one I had made a mention. I had been to Prayagraj. Incidentally, next day, Kumbh Mela was supposed to start. So already thousands of people were there. It was such a great sight to behold, But of course, I did not stay for the next day. I went, had my bath there in Triveni Sangama, then went to the Someshwara temple, very beautiful temple there, and I came back. But The very sight of the hundreds of sadhu purushas gives so much of joy. And that is what here Tulsidasi says, Muda Mangala. It is not only auspicious, it brings so much of joy. In fact, it is my personal experience. Of course, I have had lot of such experience whenever I have travelled elsewhere or in the earlier places when all our Swamijis and all used to gather together. It was a delight. It was a great time of, unforgettable experiences. Muda Mangalamaya. Mangalamaya. Look at that word also. Muda, joy. Mangala, goodness. Maya, filled with. Where? Santa Samaju. Muda Mangalamaya Santa Samaju. Jo Jaga Jangama Tiratharaju. This is what is the point there. Jaga Jangama. Jangama means moving. Mobile. What? Tiratharaju. It's Tulsidasi calls it as a mobile pilgrimage centers. See, every sadhu, santa purusha resides somewhere. Unless a few of them are parivrajakas all the time who keep on going everywhere. And you find people who are all the time on their parivrajakatva in Himalayas and etc. etc. But there are always people who are stationed in some places. So many places of pilgrimage are there. In Bharata, of course, innumerable number of pilgrimage centers are there. Wherever you go there is only joy. Right? And it is said, you can't go to all the pilgrimage centers everywhere in this whole universe. Therefore, it is said, that is what people say. You go to Kumbh Mela, all the Santa Sadhu Purushas are there. And therefore, it is called what? Jangama Tiratharaju, mobile pilgrimage centers. Think. And one asks, Swamiji, I understand what? Thousands and thousands of acharyas coming together. And how do you say that they are Santa Purushas? So they come there, they come take bath, and they are all there. Facilities are made, they are all there. They stay there for so many days, and then they go back. But why do you call it a Jangama? Tulsidasi says, it is a confluence of, one, it is the confluence of three rivers. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. That place is called Prayag, which is, unfortunately, now it is known for wrong reasons. But then Prayag is a great Tirtha Sthala, a confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. And you can see Ganga and Yamuna, both the confluence place, you can see the colors. One side you will find the light greenish water, the other side you find whitish water. Both of them come together, off-white, let us say. And then you will find, Swamiji, Ganga, Yamuna. What about Saraswati? Saraswati is Guptagamini. She is a dhara underneath. In fact, when you go to Uttarakashi, from there you go a little north, you will find a place where Saraswati is seen. That is not the Udbhavasthana. Because Udbhavasthana of Saraswati Nadi cannot be seen. It manifests at a particular place between huge 2-3 rocks are there. It manifests in between and it flows only for about 1.5 kilometer or 2 kilometer and then it goes underneath. And what is that? She is called as Guptagamini. Saraswati is called as Guptagamini. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. The great three rivers come together. And how do you relate it to the sadhu? Tulsidasi very beautifully says. He says, राम भक्ति जहाँ सुर सरि धारा. Rama Bhakti, the devotion towards Ramchandra ji is like the flow of Ganga ji. How beautiful. See, there are so many places in the Shastras where Ganga ji is described as such a beautiful, wonderful, joyful river which bounces and dances and jumps and it flows and it creates a huge splash of water. And these are all so beautiful things to see, to watch, to observe. Even from a distance, when we observe all these things, it brings so much of delight to our heart. And so is bhakti. And so is bhakti towards Bhagavan Shri Ramchandra ji. Ramchandra ji's bhakti brings so much of delight. Yet bhavam, the one who experiences will definitely understand. Bhakti is not something which can be expressed. Bhakti is not something which can be shown. In my Matru Bhasha, Tamil Bhasha, a very, very interesting saying. Talaila motta, nettila patta, kaluthila kotta, kavi chatta, kaalila katta. It is said. Talaila motta, a bald head, a shaven head. Nettila patta, huge vertical vibhuti or nama. Kaluthila kotta. Kotta means Rudrakshi Mala. Huge Rudrakshi Mala also people wear. Not one or two. Some people wear about 6 or 7 malas. I don't know how they carry that weight also. Kavi chatta, ochre robe. Kaalila katta, wooden padukas. This does not describe a bhakta, please. Let us be very clear about it. Bhakti is beyond all that is being expressed. Bhakti is an experience. An experience can never be expressed. And that which is expressed can never become an experience. Why? Because experience is purely subjective, private, personal. And expression is always objectified, which is of course limited. And that too in a third man's language, which is again terribly limited. How can a personal, subjective, private experience be expressed? True, we try to, sometimes it comes out, but that is not the complete experience. Complete experience is something which is beyond all languages, which is beyond all human organs or the mind also. It is something which dissolves the bhakta into Bhagavan. That is bhakti. Love cannot be expressed with a limited format. Love towards Bhagavan is something which is beyond expression. That is why expression can never be the experience and experience can never be expressed. Now look at that. Rama Bhakti Jaga Surasari Dhara. The devotion towards Bhagavan Shri Ramchandra ji flows and Ganga represents that flow of devotion towards Bhagavan. Sarasai Brahma Bichara Prachara. Sarasai refers to Saraswati Nadi. And what is that Saraswati Nadi? Is Brahma Bichara Prachara. When all the saints and sages gather there in Prayag, in the Triveni Sangama, there are so many places where few hundreds come together and great amount of discussion goes on. On what? On Vedanta Shastra, on Bhagavata, on Ramayana, on Upanishads, Brahma Sutra, Ityadi. Everywhere Brahma Prachara. And therefore, wherever knowledge is being talked about, what else it is? Saraswati. Saraswati, goddess of knowledge. See? Rama bhakti jaha sura saridhara sarasahi brahma bichara prachara. Gangaji, bhakti. Sarasai brahma bichara, jnanam. Bhakti and jnanam. What about Yamuna Devi? Now it is said, Bidhi nishedhamaya kalimala harani karama katha Rabi Nandani Bharani. Rabi Nandani, Rabi means here sun god, and Yamuna Devi is supposed to be the daughter of sun god. Here, Karama Katha Rabi Nandani Bharani. What is that? Bidhi nishedhamaya kalimala harani. Karma, action, work, physical activity. There in the, for example, in the Kumbh Mela, when hundreds and thousands of people come, everybody serves everybody. That is one meaning. Physically they serve. Another meaning, by the way I live my life. How? Bidhi nishedhamaya. Shastras have got certain injunctions, certain do's, bidhi, and nisheda, don'ts. Do's and don'ts. Very many times we all don't like these instructions, do's and don'ts. Even when our parents say, don't do this, do this, we don't want to listen to instructions. Sometimes even we don't want to listen to our teachers. Why? When he says do this and do, why can't I do it my way? I want my space, People say, what is that? I want my space. Meaning what? Everyone wants freedom in their actions. But the Shastras say, you can have your freedom, but are you ready to face the consequences? Think. Every karma has got karma phala. Once you perform the karma, karma phala shall come to you, good, bad, indifferent. It will come back to you as pleasure for your good karmas, and the wrong deeds will come and haunt you. Whether you want it or not, believe it or not, accept it or not, know it or not, like it or not, it will come. Now, when I understand, or rather first of all learn, then understand, assimilate those values given in the Shastras. What are the values? Bidhi nisheda, do's and don'ts. Every karma has got 4 types. Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, Kamya karma, and Nishiddha karma. 4 types. Shastra says the first 2 you ought to do, and the other 2 you are not to do. It is said. But interestingly, all of us find the other 2 very interesting, which we are not to do, and what we are ought to do, we feel it boring. Generally. Isn't it? Of course, exceptions are sustained, please. There are some people who are called, who think that they are very, very nobler. Nobler than thou attitudes are there, some people have got. Let us give them that benefit of doubt. I am talking of common, normal human being. Everybody have got good thoughts and bad thoughts. Both are there. Let us accept ourselves. Is it not? Nitya karma, one have to do. Good for us. Naimittika karma, occasional duties, one must do. Kamya karma and Nishiddha karma. Kamya karma will at that moment may give some pleasure, but it will give wrong results later. Nishiddha karma, anyway one must not do. These 4 karmas are the 4 types which we have in our life, and Shastras guide us properly. Vidhi nishedha kali malaharani. When I follow this vidhi and nishedha, what does it do? Malaharani, it removes all the mala, dirt in our mind in this Kali Yuga. And time and again people say, in Kali Yuga, the best sadhana is devotion at the feet of the Lord. Why? The pleasures, the attractions, the whims and fancies are so much. For everything one cannot use intellect. By the time I start thinking, I will get carried away. Therefore, Nama, Bhagavan's Nama Japa is the best. Nama Smaranad Anyopayam Nahi Pashyamo Bhavatarane. And therefore, one is Nama Smarana, second is Vidhi Nisheda Karma. And that is referred to as Yamuna. Now see, confluence of these three rivers. Now look at that shloka. Muda Mangalamaya Santa Samaju Jo Jaga Jangamatirtha Raju. Jangamatirtha Raju. This is a mobile pilgrimage centers. Who are they? These Santa Samaju. The confluence of Guru Parampara itself there. Rama Bhakti Jaha Sura Saridhara Sarasai Brahma Bichara Prachara Vidhi Nishedhamaya Kalimalaharani Karma Kathara Binandani Harbarani. Therefore, this wonderful confluence brings Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati together. It brings great amount of sages and saints together. It also brings us greatest knowledge of how we also have to bring karma, bhakti and jnana together so that Malaharani, that will remove all our flaws, errors, wrongdoings, and we will be able to integrate ourselves towards the higher destination. We will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.